Welcome back to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. We have got some huge stories to discuss today, including Baleba from Brighton. But before we get into all of that, please do me a small favour. If you are watching the channel for the first time today, make sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner, and give the video a like. Before we do everything, I want to ask you guys a little question, and it's about Carlos Beliba. Do we think he is the right man to transform our midfield next season? I want to get your thoughts on this player in the comment section below. I will be bringing you all of the news, of course, that's come out in the last few hours on this potential signing. But before we do all that, I want to get your opinions on this player. Is he the right man for the job? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you don't think he is, who should it be instead? Maybe you think we should be looking at Edison from Atalanta as an example. Let me know what you think. But let's just go straight in with the news on this one then, because this is obviously the massive developing story that's come out kind of, I'd say out of nowhere. I mean, it kind of has come out of nowhere. So yeah, let's go straight in with this then. So it's mainly being led by Fabrizio Romano at the moment, which is, I think, important. He's one of the most reliable journalists around. Him and David Ornstein are pretty much the two best journalists in football, I would say. They don't really miss very often. So let's start off with what Fabrizio's had to say. So this kind of broke late last night. Fabrizio was saying that Beliba is seen as the perfect replacement. Sorry, not the perfect replacement. He's seen as the perfect player by Ruben Amorim for his midfield. It also says here that he is Manchester United's dream target. And apparently the player has not closed the door to Manchester United despite no European football. The player did not say no when Manchester United approached his camp. It will be very difficult as Brighton doesn't want to lose the player. That's always what Brighton say, they remember. And then we have another story here from L'Equipe saying that Amorim has made Baleba his top target for the midfield of Manchester United. It says United's management already know that the price will be very high. Then we have David Ornstein as well. So we have a full sweep of all of the top journalists. David Ornstein is reporting that Manchester United have made contact with Brighton via intermediaries to explore the deals. To explore the conditions of a deal for Beliba. Brighton do not plan to sell this summer, and all sides are aware it may be a difficult deal to do. United are keen, and the next few days will tell us everything. Wow. So we're very, very keen on signing this player. Now, transfer fee-wise, apparently they're asking for 100 million euros, okay? Which is, let me just do a conversion. It's about 87 million pounds, and apparently Manchester United were willing to pay 80 million. That's what the report is this morning. I mean, I don't think that's that unrealistic. When you think that Moises Caicedo, who is a similar... sorry, I just got a funny message. Oh my god. All right, sorry. When you think that Moises Caicedo played for the same team, Brighton, played in the same position, is a similar age at the point of moving. He moved to Chelsea, obviously, in 2023 it was, so 2 years ago, at the age of, I think he was 20 when he moved to Chelsea, and that was at that point a club record, wasn't it, for Brighton? Brighton got 116 million for Moises Caicedo. They're exactly the same age. They play in the same position. They play for the same team. So it kind of gives you a bit of an inclination as to, how much money it would actually take to get him out of Brighton. Brighton are never an easy club to do business with. But let's be honest, they are a selling club. They are. They're a selling club. They have this incredible ability to discover talent from all across the world, right? Moises Caicedo is a prime example of that. And this guy is another example. He was obviously playing at Lille before, alongside Lenny Yoro. There's some pictures surfacing this morning of them playing together. They paid 27 million euros for him only 2 years ago, which is what, 20 million pounds? And now we're talking about a 100 million euros player 4 years later. 2 years later. They've made 4x what they paid for him in the space of 2 years. I mean, that's just incredible, isn't it? So it's never going to be an easy deal to do, but I think it is still a possible deal. And the reason for that is because there's going to be people like, oh, how have we got the money? I don't understand. Well, what's really, really interesting about this transfer window so far is apparently Matheus Cunha was included in last year's PSA Sorry, PSR return. Okay? He was in last year's. Remember the PSR period started recently. Do you remember every calendar year, there's a cutoff point, yeah? And the PSR period was like, I think it was about a month ago. And apparently the Matheus Cunha deal was included in that PSR period. So technically this year, this PSR year, which is the most important thing, we've only signed one player, which is obviously Mbeumo. And we're going to sign Sesco. So really, if you're looking at it from a kind of financial standpoint, PSR standpoint, ability to spend standpoint, we have only spent 60 million this summer. And obviously we won't have spent all of that in one. We'll have paid that Mbeumo transfer over probably 4 or 5 years. So we probably only actually gave Brentford maybe 15 million at the very most this summer. It might even be less than that. It might be like 12 and a half, something like that. So really this summer our actual outgoings, because remember none of these transfers will be paid in one go. It'll be done over like a 5-year period. Our actual outgoings this summer so far will literally just be the first instalment of Mbeumo's wages. In relation to PSR, PSR is the most important thing here. Like the rest of it is almost irrelevant because we need to stay within PSR and PSR tells us what we're allowed to spend and what we're not allowed to spend. So in relation to the PSR period, our only signing is Mbeumo, and we'll have only probably paid at the most a quarter of that transfer fee. So a quarter would be 15 million. So we've spent 15 million tops this summer, which then when you think with Sesco, it will be similar. It'll be split over 4 years, probably at the most, which would then be, again, about 15 million. So Mbeumo and Sesco combined will be about 30 million transfer fee, yeah? Obviously, the transfer fee is way bigger, but the point I'm making is you don't give them all of the money at once. You give it them over a 4 or 5 year period. And that's how your PSR works as well. So on our PSR books for this summer, so far, there'll be 15 million. But then when you look at this, right? And this is why most football fans are just like, oh, I don't see how United are spending so much money. They haven't even got Champions League football. It's a joke. It's a disgrace. I'm not saying we're saying that, right? Because we know our club and we actually like listen to what's going on. But rival fans will be saying like, oh, the Premier League's corrupt. Like, how is it that they can spend this much money? But they don't actually ever take the time to actually work out how they can spend the money, right? And the reason why we can spend this money is, one, we have got rid of players, okay? We haven't sold anybody, but we can do a really, really quick breakdown for you here. Marcus Rashford was on about £20 million a season. He's gone. His wages are cleared. So that's 20 million saved. Eriksen was on about 150k a week. That's about, I think it's just under 10 million a season. Lindelof was also on about 150k a week. That's another 10 million per season. So those 3 players alone, right, who've left, yes, we didn't get a transfer fee. 20 million for Rashford in wages. 10 for Eriksen and 10 for Lindelof. That's about 40 million there. And then when you also factor in like Johnny Evans has gone, he was on about, I think, a 50 grand a week, which is what, 2.5 a year roughly. When you think that Elanga's gone to Newcastle, we got some of that money. When you think that Alvaro Fernandez moved from Benfica to Real Madrid, we got some of that money because of a sell-on clause. There was another young player who I always forget his name, but that we sold last summer from the academy. He's moved somewhere else. There's all these transfers that have kind of intrinsically been linked to us, the Elangas, the Alvaro Fernandezes, where we've actually made some money off these deals. So this whole argument that like, how can Manchester United spend so much money? Well, the first thing was obviously that Cunha was in last financial year, so that doesn't even count. And so far this summer, we've only bought a quarter of Mbeumo, really. So I know a lot of people are going to be watching this thinking like, why are we talking about this? It's really unrealistic. We're not going to get him. The point I'm making to you is here, financially, we are in a good position. Not obviously with the debt and stuff, but I mean, in relation to PSR, we have the ability to spend money. And £80 million, although that's obviously a big sum of money, to think of it as one whole number, it's never going to be £80 million. It would be £80 million split over 4 or 5 years, which would be like 20 million this summer, 20 next, 20 the year after, and 20 the year after that. So I don't think it's unrealistic. I think it's essential as well. We need a midfielder. I think you bring in someone like Carlos Beliba from Brighton, alongside Sesco, alongside Cunha, alongside Mbeumo. I would say that we should then be looking at least top 6, at least. I honestly think it would make that much of a difference. Whereas without that midfield being sorted, I think we'll be somewhere in the top 10. Whereas if that midfield is plugged, which I think Carlos Beliba would do an amazing job at doing, I think we would be fighting for that 5th place, which would be Champions League football. And you just have to think, right? If they put the money in now, and then we get Champions League football, we're laughing. Financially, we're sorted then. If they don't put the money in, and then next summer we're not in Europe again, it's gonna mess us up. So that's a very, very simple explanation on kind of what's going on here. Let's see what's happening here. Let's see how many people are in the room. What's going on? Is my video all right? We've got 812 people here, guys. Everyone who's just joined, please do me a favor. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to go and subscribe to the channel, guys. And make sure to like the video. It doesn't cost you any money to do that. It's completely free to like. It's completely free to subscribe as well. So, yeah, make sure you jump involved on that. So, yeah, 80 million is apparently what Manchester United are willing to pay. 100 million is the asking price for Carlos Beliba. Do we think this is good business? I think it is. I think it's a stupid question to ask if it's good business, but I'm going to ask the question nonetheless. Do we think this is a good deal? Manchester United apparently trying to sign Carlos Beliba from Brighton. £100 million is the asking price. Manchester United apparently willing to pay as much as £80 million for the player. So yeah, really, really exciting. I think if we were able to get this deal over the line, it would be a massive, massive coup for Manchester United. It really, really would. And yeah, I would be absolutely buzzing with this. It would be an incredible bit of business, guys. Incredible. Glitchy video. All right, let me try something a second. Let me try something. All right, let's see if that works better. Give me 1 second, chat. Hopefully that sorts it out. Do you know what's really weird, right? Whenever we do a video that's got loads of people watching, it seems to just be glitchy. Should be all right now. Are we all right now? Right. But yeah, I want to get your thoughts on this one, guys. Get in the comment section whilst I try and sort this glitchy out. Get in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on this. Carlos Beliba to Manchester United, £80 million. Do we think this is good business? The thing you have to remember as well, right? Just on a kind of personal level, Cameroon international. We've already just signed Mbumo. We've got Andre Onana. And also, he also used to play with Lenny Yoro at Lille. So there's already kind of like a connection there, which is really, really exciting. But yeah, for me, I think he would be an absolutely transformative signing for this team. I know we thought the same about Manuel Ugarte, and it hasn't... I don't want to say it hasn't worked for Ugarte because he has only had 1 season, but Manuel Ugarte does seem to get a lot of criticism. Whether that's fair or not, I don't know. But yeah, Manuel Ugarte does seem to get a lot of unfair criticism, I think. He's been here for 1 season and there's already people saying that he's not good enough, which I don't really agree with. I mean, I don't think he's world class, Manuel Ugarte. Someone in the chat saying they're not impressed with Carlos Beliba. Wow. Why? Let me know. Very interested to get your thoughts on that one. Let me know. There's no right or wrong answer here. Everyone's entitled to their opinions, and I'm not going to shoot anybody down for having a different opinion to mine. But very interested to know why you think, Carlos Beliba is not the right man for Manchester United. Why? Who would you go for instead? Would you look at Edison from Atalanta? Would you look at someone else? Like, who would you go for? Let me know your thoughts. Ozzy says he likes Ugarte. Somebody says we should get the other Onana from Villa. Yeah. Quite a few people are saying that Ugarte's been disappointing. I mean, he's only been here 1 season. We have to give him a bit longer than 1 season, Manuel Ugarte. I agree that it wasn't the best year for him. I agree that, he didn't set the Premier League alike. But at the same time, our whole team was awful last year. Like, was there anybody in our team who was good last year? Maybe Bar Ahmad. Lenny Yoro was okay. One Danger says, in the big games, I'd pair Ugarte and Beliba. Yeah, I mean, imagine going from Casemiro and Bruno as your midfield to Beliba and Ugarte in a more defensive style team. It would be perfect. It would be absolutely perfect. Put Bruno further up the pitch again. It would be honestly transformative. And I think it would take us from 15th. Honestly, this is going to... You might think this is ridiculous, but if we bring in Beliba, we have Sesko, we have Mbumo, and we have Cunha, I'm saying that we should be challenging for that 5th or 6th spot there with those 4 signings. I think they're that important for Manchester United. I think if we don't get the midfield sorted, our midfield's just going to keep getting run through every single game, as it does already, and it's just going to continually be a problem. Ozzy says we've got to get rid of someone in midfield first. We've already got rid of Eriksen, mate. Eriksen's gone. People seem to forget about Eriksen. Eriksen was a midfielder. He was a first-team midfielder. He played a fair amount of games last season for us, Christian Eriksen. And he has done over the last couple of years. Like I said a couple of minutes ago, Christian Eriksen was on 150 grand a week at Manchester United. It's about 10 million a year in wages. So we need to replace that hole that Christian Eriksen has left. Now, I know that he wasn't starting every single game, but he still was an option in that midfield for Manchester United. And at the moment, we're short in that midfield. It looks like Toby Collier is probably going to leave, which I think is the correct decision. Maybe on loan. But we definitely need to plug that midfield. Obviously, Casemiro is going to leave as well next season, remember. So this time next year, right, Eriksen's gone. Casemiro will be gone. Toby Collier will probably be gone. And then we'll be 3 midfielders short. And we're already short right now. So, yeah. You've got to remember as well, right? There's still like a month left of this window. There's still a month left of this window. And there is still a chance that Casemiro could leave before the end of the window. There's still a chance that he could end up going to Saudi. You know, that's not an unrealistic, like, not expectation. Yeah, it's not unrealistic that he could end up at Saudi, I don't think. But we'll see. Right, let's talk a little bit about Benjamin Sesco then, chat, because it looks like Benjamin Sesco deal done. Should, all being well, be today. I have a funny feeling. that he'll be unveiled at Old Trafford this weekend. Obviously, we have a pre-season friendly against Fiorentina this coming Saturday, 12:45 kickoff. I think, this is just my opinion, I think that they'll unveil him on Saturday, I reckon. Obviously, we play Arsenal a week on Sunday. I can't believe the Premier League season starts a week on Sunday. Obviously, all of this news is exciting. You know, Sesco, Beliba, etc., etc. But it's kind of scary, isn't it? That we play Arsenal, the team who finished second last year, one of the best teams in the Premier League. We play them a week on Sunday. Literally in like 10 days, we'll be playing Arsenal at Old Trafford. That's mad. I'm just hoping we can pull off a miracle in that game, and then by the time, by the time we get to the end of the window, we've got Beliba, we've got Sesco, we've got all of these players in, maybe a new goalkeeper. Like, if we can get through those first 3 games, Arsenal at home, Fulham away, if you get a result in both those 2 games, yeah, and then you have Burnley at home, that's when the window ends. So if we can just get through that period, I know it sounds ridiculous, but if we can get through that period with at least 6 points, maybe even 7, yeah, then you play Man City away, and then you've got Chelsea at home. Like, it's a really, really difficult first 5 fixtures. Arsenal, Man City, and Chelsea. Fulham away, you never know who you're going to come up against. You might lose 4-0 or you might win 4-0. It's like completely 50-50 with Fulham. Sometimes you batter them, sometimes they batter you. Burnley at home, I mean, it should be a win, but it's never easy. They'll park the bus, they'll hit on the counter-attack, and we know how bad we are in transitional moments. But yeah, it's exciting. It really, really is exciting. Somebody in the chat saying we've only spent £9 million. Is the 9 million including the wages we've saved? This is what I was trying to say to you a couple of minutes ago, everybody, right? We haven't actually spent very much money, because when we think that, like I said, Eriksen left 150 grand a week, Lindelof left 150 grand a week, Rashford left 350 grand a week. Those 3 players alone in wages is about 40 million a season that we've saved. They're gone. And the fact that Manchester United have cleverly included Matheus Cunha in last year's PSR, that's really, really clever. Because it means on our books, we've technically only signed Mbeumo so far. So it's very, very clever. And, you know, it's easy for us to sit here and criticise Ineos and say they don't know what they're doing and all the rest of it. But how they've kind of worked out how they can spend this amount of money in a year where... Do you remember before the season ended, right? People were like, oh, Man United can only spend like 60 million. We haven't got any money. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that everyone was saying that, weren't they? There's no money to spend. We're skint. No European football. What are we going to do? Oh, no. Oh, do you know what I mean? Like, there was just mad hysteria in the fan base. And we were all sat here thinking, we're going to end up with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. We're going to end up with Jamie Vardy on a free. We're going to end up with... maybe we'll get Angel Gomez as our best signing. That was kind of like what we were expecting, right? It was like, we'll get Angel Gomez on a free. We might get Vardy. We might get Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And everyone was just sat there like, oh my God, we're literally getting worse and worse and worse. Like, none of these players are going to improve us. And we've just gone the complete opposite way. We've signed Matheus Cunha, who Arsenal wanted, Newcastle wanted. We've signed Mbeumo, again, who lots of top clubs wanted. We're on the brink of signing Sesco. Remember that Arsenal wanted Sesco, Chelsea wanted Sesco, obviously Newcastle wanted Sesco. And do you know what's really, really interesting actually about the Sesco deal? And I want you guys to listen to this and to save this in your brain as ammunition for when the rival fans come for you, okay? Fabrizio Romano this morning has put out a tweet, okay? Are you ready for this? Benjamin Sesco apparently was offered more money by Newcastle in wages. Let that resonate for a minute. Yes, you heard that right. All you're going to hear from TalkSport, all you're going to hear from the mainstream media, all you're going to hear from rival fans is that Benjamin Sesco is coming from Manchester United purely for money. He doesn't care about the club. Why would he come to Manchester United? They don't have Champions League football. It's just about money. It's just about money. Fabrizio, I would say, would you agree that he is the top journalist in the world alongside David Ornstein, has literally put out a story this morning saying that apparently Newcastle offered him more money to come and he still said no. I mean, do I need to say anything else? I should just end the video here, right? He wants to come to Manchester United. We don't have Champions League football and we've offered him less money and we've offered Leipzig less money and we're going to get this deal done. I don't know. I just think that's crazy. And I just want you all to remember that when the rival fans, when TalkSport... I've already seen TalkSport spouting absolute rubbish saying that the only reason that he's coming to Manchester United is because of money. The only person on TalkSport who actually has reported the news correctly is, what's he called? Rory Jennings. And usually I don't like most of the stuff he says, but he literally said on there, he was like, why would he go to Newcastle? Come on, let's be honest. If Manchester United comes knocking, you never go to Newcastle. But every other pundit on there, whatever you want to call them, is spouting this whole nonsense that, oh, you know, Man United are going to pay them hundreds of grand a week and, oh, Newcastle would never have been able to afford that. And it's just complete rubbish. It's rubbish. So just be aware, right? Man United are the most hated club in the world. We know that. He wants to come to Manchester United. He clearly isn't coming for the money because Newcastle have offered him more. And we're not even in the Champions League. So let's get behind this player, guys. He might not start the season amazingly, okay? He might have a few bad games. But just please remember this. This guy is rejecting Newcastle, who are offering him more money to come and play for Manchester United, who aren't even in the Champions League. So just get behind him. He might not be amazing at first. He might take some time to settle in. But he wants us. And that's important. I think that is important. So let's get behind Benjamin Sesko, please. I don't want to see, after one game, I don't want to see people saying, oh, he's a flop. Let's not do that. Give him a chance, please. Please give him a chance. The same with Manuel Ugarte. Let's give him another season. Let's see how he can do this year. Yeah, I mean, obviously you can do what you want. If you want to go on Twitter after the game and say, Benjamin Sesko, shit, get rid of him, then that's up to you. But I think as a fan base, when a player has rejected more money and Champions League football to come to Manchester United, who just finished 15th, we need to get behind him. We need to get behind him. I think so anyway. We need to get behind all our players. This is such an important season for Manchester United. it arguably is one of the most important seasons in Premier League history. Obviously, since the Premier League was called the Premier League, because everyone is expecting us to fail, realistically. We finished 15th. Next season, we need to get back in that Champions League spot. Yeah, as Fred says, he's chosen the badge over the wallet. We've got to back him. There you go. That's exactly what I mean. Exactly what I mean. You know, if we'd have woken up to a story saying that we were going to pay him 500 grand a week, the only reason he's coming is for the money, I would be like, this guy better perform, otherwise I'm going to be slagging him off. Do you know what I mean? If that was the case. But it clearly isn't the case. He wants to come to Manchester United. He wants to play for the badge. And he's willing to take less money than what he'd get from Newcastle. And he's willing to sacrifice Champions League football. And I have so much respect for that. I really, really do. You know what? It's actually like refreshing in a time where modern football is literally in the mud, I think. It's on his arse. Pardon my French, yeah? To have players who actually are making decisions based on... I mean, there'll be some people saying, oh, well, it can't be based on football because look how shit Man United are. There will be people saying that. But he's obviously seen the project that we're trying to build, right? He's seen Christopher Vivell come in, the head of recruitment, who used to obviously work for the RB Leipzig group. For the Red Bull group. And he obviously knows that what we're building, it might not be instant, but in a few years, we will be back competing. That's obviously what he's buying into. Whereas, I'm sorry, Newcastle fans, but best case scenario, you're going to be a team who finishes like 5th, I think. I can't see Newcastle winning the league, realistically. They won the League Cup last season, the Carabao Cup. Congratulations to them. Their first trophy in, 18 years, maybe even longer. Well done to them. But I just don't see it, because the problem they have as a team, Newcastle, is people just don't want to go there. I don't know why. Is it because they don't want to live in Newcastle? Is it because... I don't know. I don't know the answer. But the point of the matter is, right, Sesco's rejected them. Hoyleson rejected them and went to Real Madrid. Cunha rejected them. And Mbeumo rejected them. Like, if you look at the players that they've tried to sign this summer, the only one that's gone there is Elanga. And realistically, he was at Nottingham Forest, who... I mean, you could even argue that Nottingham Forest are an as big a club as Newcastle, but this is a whole pointless conversation for another day anyway. What I'm trying to home in on you is that, yeah, he wants to come to Manchester United. So yeah, really, really happy about this, guys. I think it's such a big deal. Let's see what else people are saying in the chat. Is everyone who's here, are you subscribed? Please let me know that you're subscribed. Honestly, it really, really helps me out. So if you aren't subscribed, I've just dropped a link into the chat to do it. Please go and do it right now. I have a feeling Sesco said no to Arsenal. I don't know what happened between Arsenal and Sesco, to be honest. I don't know. Ozzy says, apparently Sesco said his idol was Zlatan and he played for United and that's why he chose United. Yeah, possibly. I'm sure we'll find out. Once he's done his first interview, we'll find out. But Johnny says, here we go. So this is somebody who didn't listen to the beginning bit of the show. Johnny says, you are mad if you think we can get Mbeumo, Cunha, Sesco and Beliba. Why am I mad? I literally explained it 5 minutes ago. I assume you weren't here for it, so I'm going to do it again really, really quickly. Cunha wasn't in this PSR period, okay? Manchester United put Cunha in the last year PSR period. So forget about Cunha. He's not in this PSR period. Okay? So Cunha's irrelevant. He's out of the equation, right? And Mbeumo, the deal was spread over 4 years. We've only had to pay 15 million this summer. So as it stands at the point of recording this video, Manchester United's outgoings for this PSR period, which is 12 months, started about 2 or 3 weeks ago, yeah? The only outgoings we've spent is 15 million on Mbeumo. That's it. Cunha was in last year's. So he's gone. He's accounted for. Those accounts will be filed. They're gone. That's done. Cunha's not in this equation. The only money we have actually spent is 15 million, which is a quarter of Mbeumo's transfer fee because we spread it out over 4 years. Sesco will be the same. It will be spread out over 4 years. Okay, so if we get Sesco for, 60 million, I think, roughly, that'll be another 15 million. So it'll be 15 million for Mbeumo, 15 million for Sesco in this PSR period. You need to just focus on PSR periods. Taking the whole total figure is irrelevant. It is completely irrelevant because you never buy a player 100% outright, ever. I mean, it has happened before with like Saudi teams. Saudi teams usually do buy players outright, but Premier League teams are never dropping like £100 million cash on a player. They'll spread it out over 4 or 5 years. And then obviously you always hear like, oh, this player's book value is this much, which means that in relation to PSR, for example, Rasmus Højlund, if we wanted to sell Højlund, you'd look at the transfer fee we paid, which was 70 million. You'd look at how many years the contract was, 5 years. You'd look at how many years he's been here, 2 years. And then you can work out what his book value is, which I think is about 45 million, roughly, something like that. So far this period, we've only bought Mbeumo for 15 million, and that's it. And then when you think of the outgoings, I'm not going to repeat this again after this, so everyone just listen to this bit, because I've already said it once. But when you look at the outgoings already, Rashford, 20 million a year in wages saved, right? So Barcelona are covering his whole wage packet, 350k a week. It's about 20 million a season. Eriksen, 150 grand a week. It's about 10 million a year. Lindelof, 150 grand a week. Again, that's about 10 million a year. Johnny Evans was on about 50. I think it's around 2.5 to 3 million a year. So those 4 players alone who've left, we got no transfer fee for, but we have saved. Over the next 12 months, we'll save around 40 to 45 million in those players' wages, in 4 players, right? And then you think Garnacho's going to go. You think Antony's going to go. You think Sancho's going to go. Garnacho, let's say minimum 30. I'm going low end here, just for argument's sake. 30 for Garnacho, let's say. 15 for Sancho. That's 45. And let's say 25 for Antony. I'm going like rock bottom. That's 70 million there alone for those 3 players. 70 million in transfer fees, plus obviously all their wages as well. Sancho's on 250, Antony's on about 200, and I think Garnacho's on about 100. So that's how we're spending money. And you obviously have to add in the fact that we got rid of around 200 members of staff. So all these people saying like, we don't have any money, we don't have any money. Andy says, what about cash flow? See, Andy, that's a better question. That's more of an intelligent question. To say we can't buy players, yeah, that's not the right thing to say, because we can. Andy's coming with the correct question there. So if PSR isn't the problem, which I'm saying it isn't, what about cash flow? And that's definitely more of a strong talking point. And that's something that I need to look at a little bit more to be able to answer. Like, I'm not going to sit here and answer that question if I don't know the answer 100%. But I would imagine that we would have the money to buy Beliba, Cunha, Sesco, and Mbeumo. Not outright, obviously. We don't have 350 million sat in the bank ready to spend. But I imagine this summer we have enough money to at least pay the first instalment of those 4 players. I mean, what would the total outgoing be? It would be like 60 for Mbeumo, 60 for Cunha, that's 120. 65 for Sesco, that's 185. 80 for Beliba, that's 265. 265 divided by 4. It might be over 5 years as well, by the way. But let's just say it's over 4 for argument's sake. Some of them will be 5, some of them will be 4. So if we do... it would be 66 million. So if we sign those 4 players, Beliba, Sesco, Cunha and Mbeumo, and the deals will be spread over 4 years, which is how they always do it in football, 4 or 5 years. We would only actually have to pay out cash this summer, £66.25 million. And that's on those 4 players. And then, like I said, Rashford gone 17 million in wages. 10 million in wages for Eriksen. 10 million in wages for Lindelof. 3 million in wages for for Johnny Evans. And then, obviously, you think about Sancho going, Antony going, Garnacho going, and you think of the money we got from Elanga, the money we got from Alvaro Fernandez, the money we got from that other guy who I can't remember his name that I keep forgetting. That's where the money's coming from. So don't buy into this whole thing of, oh, Manchester United is skint, they can't spend money. They can't drop 300 million cash on a player. No, of course we can't do that. But not many clubs can do that. So, yeah. I think we should try and be positive, all right, in this moment. I think we should, cherish these moments, not be massively critiquing how Manchester United can spend the money that they can, you know? What? Some of the people on Twitter, it's just like putting out complete random shit. Right, let's see what else is going on in the chat. We've got over 1,300 people watching live now, chat, which is absolutely incredible. If everyone who's here who isn't subscribed, please go and subscribe right now. If we can get to 44,000 subscribers by the end of this video, right, we're about 200 or 300 away. If we get to 44,000 by the time I finish this video, I will give away a Manchester United shirt for free. How about that? One of the brand new shirts. I'll do it as like a little thing where you have to leave a comment and I'll pick somebody from the comment section and I'll send you a shirt anywhere in the world. If we can get to 44k by the end of this video. There's over 1,000 of you watching right now. So everybody who's not subscribed, go and subscribe right now. And yeah, if we can get to 44k by the time I finish this live stream, I've put the link in the chat to subscribe. So I'll just put this, Free United. Oh yeah, that's the guy. Oidel? Oidel. Is that how you say it? All right, so I'm going to put it in the chat here. There you go. I'm going to pin that. So I've just pinned that to the top, guys. Free Manchester United shirt if we hit 44k today. Everyone go and subscribe who isn't already. We only need a couple of hundred, guys. We want you to dance. Wow. I mean, if we get Beliba, mate, I'll dance. Why not? Why not? Right, let's see what people are saying in the comments today. I haven't read any of the comments yet. Somebody says, you've mentioned all the wages we've saved, but not the wages that we'll be spending. So, Cunha's on 150 and Mbumo's on 150. So, for argument's sake, that cancels out Eriksen and Lindelof leaving. But you still have Marcus Rashford's 350 grand a week, which is like 17 million a season that's gone. And you have Johnny Evans, which was about 3 million. So there's 20 million there. So it's a good point. And I'm more than happy to have that conversation, which I've just done. So for argument's sake, Eriksen has been cancelled out by Cunha. And Lindelof has been cancelled out by Mbumo, wages-wise. But we still have 20 million left from Rashford and Johnny Evans going. So, yeah. All right, let's see what else we got. Let me just have a little sip of my tea. Thank you to all the new subscribers, guys. I appreciate you. Yeah, so if we can get to 44,000 by the time I end this live stream, which we should be able to do with the amount of people that are in here, we'll do a giveaway in the comments section for a free shirt. Jevon says, you have touched my heart. I have now subscribed. That's very nice. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, man. What about the PSG goalkeeper? I assume you're talking about Donnarumma. I'll be honest with you, my friend. I think the Donnarumma story is very much like agent-driven. I can't see Man United going for Donnarumma. If we get Donnarumma as well, I would be saying we need to be top four minimum. If our final three signings were Donnarumma, Sesco, and Beliba, I would be saying top four is like minimum. If that was imagine that was our team, right? Imagine our team was Donnarumma, Lenny Yoro, De Ligt, and let's say Maguire, yeah? Left wing back Dorgu, right wing back Ahmad, midfield two of Ugarte and Beliba. Then you have your central attacking midfielders go for probably Bruno and Cunha, and then you have Sesco as your striker. Imagine that. For me, that's a top four team, minimum. Because you've solved so many issues there. Imagine how attacking that would be. Ahmad at right wing back with Bruno, Cunha, and Sesco as your kind of, and Dorgu, who's really, really like taken a massive step up in pre-season. I think because Garnacho's gone. Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting times, and obviously we need to take baby steps. But at the moment, if we can at least get this, if we can at least get the Sesco deal done, and Boomer on the bench, probably, yeah. I think if we have Ugarte and Beliba in midfield, that means that Bruno plays further up the pitch, and I would probably start Bruno over over Mbeumo, to be honest, realistically. So yeah, I probably would have Mbeumo on the bench if that was the case. All right, what else have we got? MB says, imagine if we had sold Bruno and we had that extra 100 million. Oh, mate, I don't even want to picture that. It would have been crazy, wouldn't it? Because they usually spend all cash, don't they? The Saudi teams. So we would have literally just had like 100 million cash go into our bank. That would have been absolutely nuts. But obviously it's not going to happen now, is it? But MB says, this has been the best window for the last 10 years, in my opinion. Wow. I agree with you, because I think a lot of people are going to read that comment or hear that comment and think like, how can you say it's the best window? But I think for me, the most important reason why this has been the best window for Manchester United so far is not actually to do with the signings, which is going to sound really weird, so hear me out, okay? Every other window under Mourinho, Van Gaal, Ollie, the Glazers said to the manager, you have to make do with what you've got. It would be like, oh, I've fallen out of this player, Sancho, or whoever it was, right? And they'd say, take them on the preseason tour, pretend everything was okay, when we knew it wasn't. And all that was causing toxicity in the dressing room and problems and feuds and all the rest of it, right? But this summer, they've been like, Garnacho, we don't want you. You're not coming on the tour. You're training on your own. Sancho, we don't want you. You're not coming on the tour. Rashford, you're not coming on the tour. And I think that's so important, because it's actually creating a dynamic in the club. It's creating standards at the club. And I honestly think now, hopefully, we may fail still, but they're creating an environment where players are going to come to Manchester United and know that if you mess around, like Sancho did, like Rashford did, like Garnacho did, that you're out. We're not going to be held ransom by you anymore. And that's evident now. Garnacho's sat at home playing FIFA. Sancho's probably playing him as well. They're probably playing Ultimate Team all day together. Or playing clubs or whatever. Rashford's got his move, so fair play to Rashford. But the other two, I mean, what are they doing? They're not in training with the team anyway. They're probably training privately, but... And I think that's so important. And I know some people will say, like, that doesn't make sense because we're devaluing our players. But I think we have to make this level of statement at this point in order to change the rot, change the decay that this club has become. Because it has. It has. It's become a place where people come for the money. It's become a place where players come and they think that they can put in a half-assed effort and still reap the rewards of playing for this amazing club that we all love. And that's why I was really, really hammering home earlier on today about Benjamin Sesco and about getting behind him. And hammering home the fact that Fabrizio said that Newcastle offered him more money in wages and Newcastle offered Leipzig more money in transfer fee, yet he still wants to come to Manchester United. These are the types of players that we want at this club. Players who actually want to be here. Players who are going to wear that badge and like know what it means to wear that badge. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Sancho doesn't care. He wants his 300k a week. He doesn't care. It's obvious. Rashford's, I don't know what happened wrong with Rashford, but it felt like he didn't care at the end. Garnacho only cares about himself. Only cares about his own ego. These are the people we don't want in this team. We don't need these egos anymore. We need team players. We need a player who has an opportunity to score, but instead will pass the ball to his teammate 5 metres away who's got an open goal. Those are the types of players we want. And let's be honest, Rashford and Garnacho especially are not team players. Sancho, I probably wouldn't include in there. I think Sancho was a little bit more of a playmaker and, wasn't that selfish, to be fair. From a footballing perspective, he's selfish in the way he operates and the way he behaves. But on the pitch, I thought Sancho, was a team player, to be fair. Especially in an attacking sense. So I'm not going to criticise Sancho for that, because I think if he had, the opportunity to pass the ball for a guaranteed goal, he probably would. But Rashford and Garnacho, it was just like painful, wasn't it? Right, let's see what else is going on in the chat. So yeah, I think although we haven't actually done loads of business right now, I think the fact that we've frozen out these toxic players is so important. And I think we will literally reap the benefits of this for years to come. So, yes. Jay Keller says, would you sell Cobby? Ooh, that's a hard question. I'm going to do a poll. Right, let's read out the results of the last poll. I asked you, should Manchester United sign Beliba for 80 million? 93% of people said yes. Over 1,742 people voted, which is absolutely incredible. We're going to do another poll. We're going to do this. We'll do this. If United sign Beliba, should United sell Mainoo? All right, this I've made it a little bit more. I've worded it slightly different because I think if Beliba comes in, Mainoo has no place realistically, does he? Mainoo doesn't get any game time as it is. So I think that's maybe a little bit of a better way to phrase the question. Because I think if I said, should we sell Mainoo, I would say no. Because we need midfielders. Why would we sell him if we don't even have a midfield at the moment? But if Beliba comes in, I think then it does become a little bit more of a question. Would I sell Mainoo? I would say no. I would push Mainoo further up the pitch. I think he's a lot more effective in one of those number 10 roles. So for me personally, I would have Mainoo further up the pitch. I would make sure that Beliba and Ugarte is our midfield. Bruno can drop in there sometimes. But yeah, for me, I would have Mainoo as more of one of those number 10s. I can see a lot of people in the chat saying that he should be Bruno's replacement. Yeah, you're right. Bruno Fernandes is getting on now. He's 31 next month. I feel like Bruno will probably go till he's like 40. But yeah, I can't imagine Manchester United will give him a new contract when it expires. His deal expires in 2 years, and then he'll have an option of an extra year on that. So if he stays for the whole length of his contract, he'll be 34 by the time his contract expires. By which point, Mainoo will only be... Let me check how old Mainoo is now. Mainoo's only just turned 20. So Mainoo, by the time Bruno's contract is done at Manchester United, right? He may leave before that, though, obviously. But let's just say that Mainoo stays for the whole of it. Sorry. Let's just say that Bruno stays for the whole of his contract, yeah? Cobby will only be 23. So, for that reason alone, I think Mainoo is definitely somebody that should be kept at this club. Now, if someone comes along and offers us 150 million for him, I think you have to accept it. That's probably not going to happen realistically. But, yeah. I personally would keep Cobby Mainoo. But yeah, I'd be interested to get you guys' thoughts on this. Obviously, I've set up a poll. Currently, 68% of people say they would keep Mainoo. And 32% of you say that you won't keep him. So that's interesting. Jack says, would you swap Vlahovic for Garnacho? I don't think we need Vlahovic if we get Sesco, to be honest, mate. I would personally rather just cash in on Garnacho. And again, that will help our PSR situation. So, yeah, yeah, I wouldn't sell Mainoo, is the short answer to that. Right, let's see if we've got any more comments coming in. All right, Johnny says, better question is this. Would you take Beliba, but Mainoo has to be sold? So you're saying that we only get Beliba if we can sell Mainoo? That's a hard one. I mean, I think it depends on how much money we're talking about here. If someone offers us 100 million plus for Mainoo, and we could get Beliba for 80 million. And the problem is, right, with this, I think in the short term, that would be the right decision. I think in the short term, Beliba transforms our midfield. But I think in the long term, you sell Mainoo, and within 2 or 3 years, I think he'll be one of the best midfielders in the world. And we'll be like, why did we do that? That's the problem. So I think short term, my heart's telling me that my heart's telling me that Beliba would have a bigger impact in Manchester United's team now than Mainoo does, because Mainoo's not getting picked. He's not having any impact at the moment, right? But I think long term, selling Mainoo would be a huge mistake. So it's a very difficult one. Very, very difficult one to answer. I can see a lot of people in the chat saying that they think Mainoo is the future for Manchester United. Yeah, I agree. I think he is the future. Obviously, he needs to sign this new contract as well. So, yeah, let's see if we've got any other comments coming in. Remember, anybody who's watching who isn't subscribed, please do subscribe. We're going to try and get to 44,000 by the time this video ends. If we can do that, we're going to give away one of the new Manchester United shirts. That has to be by the end of this video, though, guys. So if you are watching and you're not subscribed, please do that. I would like Beliba to come. Seems too expensive. That's the problem, though. When you're buying Premier League proven players from other Premier League clubs, they're always going to be expensive. He's young. He's very talented. Oh, is it Baleba? Is it Baleba or Beliba? Baleba. Is it Balaba? How much would you bid? I think anywhere between 60 and 80 million would be a good deal. Pounds. 60 to 80 million would be good. Obviously, Brighton are asking for 100 million apparently, which is ridiculous. He's not worth 100 million. Not yet. He might be in a couple of years' time. But obviously, they're just basing it off the fact that they sold Moises Caicedo to Chelsea for about that level of money. Somebody says Baleba or Onana? What? What do you mean? Onana can't play in midfield, can he? Or can he? No, I don't want Onana to play in the midfield. Imagine. It's the stuff of nightmares. Right. I think I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. It's been an absolutely amazing stream today. Lots and lots of new faces in here, which is lovely to see. Before you go, if you have enjoyed today's video, do give the video a like. Give it the thumbs up as you head out. It does really, really help the channel. And be sure to subscribe as well. There should be like a little subscribe button, bottom right-hand corner. Once the video is published, everybody who's been in here this morning, please do go and have your say on we need to call him Beliba. Baleba. Get in the comment section, have your say on Baleba. I will be reading through the comments. I'll be replying to some of them as well. So if you want to have a bit of a conversation with me after the show, get in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on this transfer. But yeah, been a very, very good stream this morning, guys. Thank you so much to all of you who've joined me. I will be back hopefully today with a Here We Go. Hopefully we get the Sesco Here We Go. But yeah, thank you very much, everybody. We've had I think we had about 1,400 people in here at one point, which is amazing. Yeah, have an amazing day. And I'll speak to you